Welcome to the Performance Enhancing Podcast. It's like steroids for your brain. A podcast for people looking to live life at their peak potential, chock full of real-world tools and knowledge that you can apply in your life today. By providing you with a lens into the lives, beliefs, practices, and actions of those who are already living extraordinary lives, the Performance Enhancing Podcast will help you shift your mindset or create that change in your daily rituals and habits so you can explode with success in the areas of life that are most important to you. So get ready for another dose of Performance Enhancing Podcast with SatoriPrime. Here's your host, Elon Ferdman.
Hello, my friends. Welcome back to another Performance Enhancing Podcast with your host, Elon Ferdman. About to delve into part 2 here of the interview that my brother did with his ex-roommate, Sean Peckenham, and what it took for him in a very, very short period of time to create his own dream life. So if you didn't check out part 1, it's really, really interesting. I just love Sean's story, someone that's gone through so much adversity and really been a student of the game. It's funny, he fell in love with the Performance Enhancing Podcast, had amazing conversation with my brother, obviously, and it's just been amazing to see how when you actually put the stuff to work, well, it just works. So in this one, a lot of talk will be about synchronicity and getting into flow, honoring your source and how important that is, especially when people achieve something and then they feel like they've gotten it, and then they just drop it. They don't want to do it anymore. So talked about that. Taking ownership of your life, obviously. Stop hiding, what that looks like, how to become more you, how to allow more of you to come out, and stop caring what people think about you. So those are kind of the main topics here, and I guess Sean's takeaways on how he got to this kind of life. So hope you enjoy it, and we'll talk to you real soon.
So to kind of just start moving towards wrapping this up, all right, so you were in that workspace, lots of things happened, you were being really challenged. By the way, one more thing. So about creating like an environment that challenges you, when they study people who enter flow states are like when we say people are in the zone. Yeah. So like Sean is fucking in the zone, right? And in the zone, what happens is like there's an alignment with the universe also that things just seem to happen with you.
I call it synchronicity.
Right.
It's like the word of my life right now.
Right. And so when we say, like, I know people say this all the time, like it's happening for you, not to you. When you enter zone space, when you enter flow states, it becomes really clear that, holy fuck, this is working with me.
Yep.
Like I am clearly in the stream. So it's like you can what's that in Finding Nemo when he's with the turtle?
Yeah.
And the turtles ride the stream. Yeah. That's like flow state.
Yep.
Right? Like you can enter flow state and then this thing just like you're with it, but he's like flopping a little bit, but it's kind of carrying him. Yeah. And that's what these flow states kind of feel like. You're like, whoa, I'm saying something, and it's like there is just pure alignment. The right people come in, the right events happen. It's just like boom, 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 boom. When you're in that other place, you're constantly either out of the stream or going against it, and then wondering why you're not gaining any ground. So part of the way that you do that, again, it's environmental in nature.
Yeah, 100%.
You can create environments. So like extreme sport athletes experience this all the time because they're constantly in environments that challenge their lives. So they're immediately thrown into these flow states. It's a lot like when you're in a car accident. Like everything slows down. You're getting a lot of information. For anybody who's been in a car accident, I imagine everyone at some point has had like a scare in the car. You know, time slows down. It's called time dilation. You feel like you can make a cup of coffee while that's happening. You're like, all right, well, we'll deal with that in a minute, but let me go get my cup of coffee over here, right? Like you have forever in that moment. And that's kind of what happens in these flow states. You start losing sense of time because time is not a real thing, right? So it's like, it's just the experience. It's all relative.
The past 2 weeks have been like, is it Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday?
Yeah.
No, it's what day is it
right
again?
And that's a really good way of knowing if you're like in these flow states consistently, because you kind of lose track of the days and the time. A week seems like a month seems like a year.
Yeah.
Like the way that at least for me, how it feels, maybe you're like that now too. Like a month over month for me feels like a year now.
Easy.
In terms of like my personal development. Like I used to, you're 16, 17, you look back at yourself, like, whoa, I'm a different person. Most people grow a lot in their teen years. They grow a little bit when they're in 20s, and then it just kind of plateaus, and they kind of stay that way for a long time, but maybe small incremental changes, and then they just die. when you take on this type of lifestyle, that never changes. In fact, it seems to accelerate. And it's not even year over year anymore. It's like week over week, month over month. You're like, whoa. Like, I don't recognize the person I was in June. It's like that. It's like that crazy.
Oh yeah.
So, and again, it's accelerated time dilation growth in flow states, and part of that is constantly doing things that challenge you. It's why Elon and I do live events that are outside of our scope of understanding. It's why we take up partnerships outside of our scope of understanding. If you take something on and you already know how to do it, you're not doing anything. You're not challenging yourself. Yep. Whatever game you take on has to be outside the scope of you knowing how to already play that game. Yep. And that's where flow state happens. If you're willing to not see it as a challenge, as an opportunity, you just dive right in.
Completely.
So he is in this workspace, which was actually really elated and give you a lot of expansion. Yeah, totally. And then like you hit your wall, right? So I want to talk about like you hitting the wall. And then what happened next is, personally, I feel like towards the end of that experience, when you started being like, this isn't really for me anymore because I've outgrown it. And then like what came next and how all that alignment happened to create the life that you're like living in right now.
Yeah, and I think that's what happens again when you you're in your flow state. You just find that everything just seems.
Oh, no, we're good. Sorry, I was interrupted for a second. Yeah.
So when you're in that flow state, everything just seems to aligning. You're like, wow, how is that happening? How is this happening? Wait, this is perfect. No, it's pretty crazy how it starts to work. But I think it really goes back to just getting out of your own way. And that's what allows you to get into, quote unquote, your flow state. When you're putting out the right energy, when you're, taking on every day, like it's literally your bitch. Like I'm owning this every single day. Today I'm going to be better. Tomorrow I'm going to be even better. And then the next and the next and the next and the next. Like a lot of things start to open up for you. You can't take days off. You really can't. If I know most people, there's always like, oh, something's missing. I have this job, but something's missing. And that's how I felt at my last job. Even it gave me amazing tools. Like I wouldn't be where I am right now today if it wasn't for my company here in San Diego, and I wouldn't be at the company I'm currently at now if it wasn't for my company here. And that's what happened. Like somehow fate had aligned, me taking on this really big client, my current company, and we just hit it off. I was making them a lot of money, they were making me money, and we had met, and things were it just clicked. Like they were my people. They were literally my people. And Sean, Pat, Adam, Chris, I fucking love you guys. Andy, you guys are amazing, and it's incredible what they are growing and now what we are growing. But I would have never been able to find them if I wasn't continuing to put myself out there and put forth the right energy, work harder than everybody else was. I wouldn't have gotten that account and that client if I wasn't, basically being the badass at my company here in San Diego. I would have never gotten that account. So it really is it truly is, life is truly what you make of it. And I think where I am today is a course of everything that I've been all the work that I've been putting in for the last year and a half. And it's hard for me to say this because I don't like talking like this. Sometimes I'm even really, really hard on myself. It definitely comes from my stepdad of nothing's ever good enough. And that's still something that I kind of fight today, because I still am like, dude, look where the hell you are compared to where you are a year ago. And sometimes I'm like, some days I'm like, oh, this is amazing. And some days I'm like, oh man, I could be doing more. But again, it's the constant work. And I still I've definitely I've stopped meditating a little bit, and I can already tell literally my other this little other side of my head's like, hey dude, you're not doing that great. You need to step it up, or you're not good enough right now. And so I'm having that, whoa, I need to get back to putting in the work for myself and not just putting in the work, for, what I'm doing with my life. It's really, I need to put work back into myself as well, as much as I'm putting work into my work.
I call that, by the way, so what he's talking about is honoring source. Something sourced this, and it's these actions, this way of thinking source this. If you stop doing that, it's you have this tree, right? Yeah. Honoring source is watering your tree. You stop watering the tree, the tree has some fruit, but eventually the tree's gonna fucking die, and that's where you start getting oh shit, things aren't quite where they were before. It's because these are, and I want to go back to this and keep talking, but these daily habits, we're kind of alluding to it, but I really want to dive deep into what that means and why it's not a daily habit. So, but please continue.
That is the thing. I think I've been putting so much time and effort into building out the company and building out what I'm doing, where I can honestly say this past week I've like hitting big brick walls because I am working like 15 hours a day. I'm grinding, loving what I'm doing, but I'm still like, I need to take time for myself and I need to put back the work into me and remember what got me to where I am today, or else I'll slowly fall back off that track, and then who knows what's going to happen. So, that's my next goal, is to really kind of, take a step back. Like, everything's amazing, we're doing crazy, amazing things, but now just take a step back, focus back on yourself, make sure, you're giving yourself a pat on the back every once in a while, and things are good. But again, it's like you said, it's the daily commitments to bettering yourself.
Yeah.
And, even when you get to hit a certain level, you still need to, continue to do those things, or else you're going to fall off the tracks. And even when you're starting, it's even more important to making sure that you're literally holding yourself accountable, and there's no excuses. I don't have time. You don't have time. You don't have 10 minutes a day to sit down and give your head a nice refresh and a clear start, so you can think clear and you can focus on what you really want to do. Or you're miserable at your job, but you're scared to walk away. Figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
That's the biggest thing. If you're not happy, why are you continuing to do those things?
Yep.
And I know it's very difficult for a lot of people to say, oh, well, I need to have this, or I need to have money. Okay, well, you have 3-4 hours that night after your 9-to-5 job to figure it out of what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
It starts with taking one action and following through every single day. 3 hours at night. I'm sure you spend at least 2 hours a night watching TV, or stupid conversations with people that really doesn't matter, or talking shit about what this relationship is or what that relationship is doing. Oh, did you see this person, what he did? Who gives a shit about that? That's all an excuse of taking ownership away from what you're doing, and that's why we do it. And when we go back to when I first moved into here, of the relationship with my ex, I was consumed by those things.
Yes.
And it would just infuriate me, and then I would want the approval from my friends, and then once I stopped talking about all the bullshit with my ex and just whatever, let her be happy, I hope she does well, and whatever it is, let's just focus on me.
Right.
Stop
the complaining.
Why?
Stop
there's
the complaining.
no need to complain.
Yeah, exactly. The complaining keeps everything in place. You said so many good things in there, so I want to just allude to a few of them. So, Sean, and I imagine maybe this is the first time in your life you're experiencing this, and maybe you don't even know, so I'll point it out to you because it's a phenomenon that happened to me. There is no, let me get some habits for a little short period of time. Like you said, you're not going to you want to be in health for the rest of your life. You're not going to do a 90-day challenge, look really good, which is what you see on TV all the time, right? These people do these programs, get amazing results, and then go look at statistics on Biggest Loser. People gain back all their weight and some more, right? It's very few that keep it off. Why? Because they did a short-term thing. It wasn't they weren't committed to something in their life. They were committed to a result, and then they were done. And what we're talking about is, that's what he says, the moment it falls off, whoa, you see the differences right away. Because it's not about having oh, well, let me do this for a while, get that result, and then I'll stop doing it. No, the 90-day challenges are to give you an access point to a lifelong commitment of doing something. People ask me all the time, oh, well, what do you drink for shakes, after a workout? It's not even fucking important. That stuff is the ego likes to drink the shake.
Yeah.
The rest of it doesn't matter. I've been working out consistently all the time since I was 14 years old. I got beat up in high school. I went home that day and I started fucking lifting. Ego made that choice. However, it led me to a life of health and fitness. That's why I know the things that I know. 18 years of a consistent action, right? So, education, daily education. You were saying about you have 3 hours, 4 hours a night. Do something with it. And it doesn't have to be 3-4 hours. You want to watch TV for an hour? Go fucking watch TV. But if you make a commitment to listen or read a book for 30 minutes a day, 30 minutes a day, that's 900 minutes at the end of the week. If I'm doing my math right, that about 16 hours, I think. Something like that.
30 minutes a day.
30 minutes a day.
7, so 210 minutes.
Oh, wait, am I way off? Wait, I did 30 times 30, isn't that 900?
Yeah. That's a month.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, and then 60 minutes divided by that. Am I doing my math right?
Yeah, you're
okay, so whatever. Let's say let's say 600 minutes. So you get to 10 hours, 16 hours. Your average audiobook is probably around 8 hours, 10 hours. That means you're doing 2 books a month. If you read 24 books this year, you are going to be in a completely different place in your life by next year. Granted that it's not like Harry Potter or some shit like that, a book that actually advances your thought. I'm reading a book right now by the guy who started Mind Valley. It's very landmarkian in nature. He kind of here's the things I've discovered, blah, blah, blah. And he even uses landmark language. That might be where he discovered it too. But look, right now, like Sean says, he's working 15 hours a day, which I consider a lot of work. When I was running my business, I'd probably average, when I started my business, For 2 years, I probably average about 14 to 16 hours a day, 6 days a week. And it takes something to move a machine. It takes the most amount of energy to start a machine moving. Once it's down the tracks, you can kind of, I'm not saying get your foot off the gas, but at least like get more in flow. Because I have found in my business, I can't correlate working more to more results now. It's actually quite the opposite. The more I step back, the more I take care of myself and just get in alignment, the more things just seem to happen in the business.
Agreed.
And it's not because I'm working more, which is a whole other, but that's like a different degree, like a level you got to get to. I think it's not just something you'd start off doing unless you really fucking know how to get in alignment. But if you know how to get in alignment, then you're not going to have to do all that grunt work anyway. So anyway, like the grunt work gets you to alignment. But my point is, he's loving what he's doing, and I think the phenomenon in that area is most people have these distinctions. My relationships with my family, my relationships with my friends, my work life, all these like different areas of life. Instead of just looking at it, it's all life. There's no different. Your career, your business, if you want to know how to be like happy in your career and business, make it be part of the journey of your life. Like what's important to you to get out of life? Who do you want to serve? What do you want to create? If that's just part of what you're doing to create capital until we leave this fucking God forbidden stupid ass system called capitalism behind, which has been awesome for industry, but has been awesome at destroying everybody's spirituality also, you know, like until you get alignment with that, then you don't give a fuck. You can work all day long and you'll get to where you want to get to because that's what you would be doing even if you weren't making money. I would be doing what I'm doing because I did it for 10 years without making a dollar. That's just what I love to do. I just spent 2 years figuring out how to model that into some way to monetize it so I can keep doing what I love and turn that into business. And we were just talking about it, and my brother and I, in 2.5 years, I mean, it's been a 5-year run, but like in the last 2.5 years, I've built revenue into multiple 7 figures with 2 people running the company. Guys, that's accessible to all of us today, and it's on the back of doing what we love. Right?
And on top of that, helping a lot of people do what you're doing.
Right. And getting to the point where they're doing what they love and they're helping other people. So like us, it's like our game is global transformation. I have an impossible promise to change the lives of 100 million people. I hope that that's 1 billion people, like that I'm brave enough to make it 1 billion people. I will probably die without seeing that through. But I'm going to fucking play the game like my fucking hair's on fire and my life depends on it. And I don't even know how to specifically measure that, but if I change Sean's life, right? If I help him change his life, which I know he has, whoever he touches, he's changing their lives. That's part of my game too. And if for the rest of his life, 10,000 people, 100,000 people are impacted by conversations with him or by listening to him or video like this or whatever, that's part of my game of getting to 100 million people. So like, I play the game that way. But the moment it just becomes life, like I want to enhance my life, not my business, all of it. So I got to the point where I'm like, if I'm not working on my relationship with my family, I'm not working on my business. If I'm not working on my business, I'm not working on my relationship with my friends. It's all the same to me. It's all the same to me. And that's why when you see me on videos here, you see me at live events, you're on webinars with me, I don't have to be a different person. Ever. This is it all day long. Ask Sean, this is not for like Facebook Live. I'm literally like this all fucking day long. Because I don't need to alter my state in order to appease a different area of my life. I literally will tell my parents everything that's going on with me. They actually know who their son is. What a fucking idea that was, right? Like, you know how many people just hide and show people only certain parts of yourself instead of letting people actually choose who you are. It's incredible.
And I think on that point, I think it's interesting now because, you know, as I become like way more authentic with just me being me and me speaking my words and me being, you know, just always being positive and just trying to be like a bigger influence on my friend's life or anyone. Like, I don't care. Like, that's why people like, I'm sure people look at my posts sometimes like, dude, this guy needs to shut up. I really don't care. If I can touch one person by saying something, or, you know, one thing that I do, like I try to buy someone's coffee at least a couple times a week behind me in line just to touch that person, because I know it's probably gonna, in return, they're gonna go do the same thing. And it's just a domino effect. But going back to that statement, it's like, it's funny, like the more authentic you start to become, like they get a lot of haters and like, oh, he's full of shit or this and that. It's like, and I think that's why it's hard for a lot of people to come to like terms with just being the people who they really are, because there's so many people in this world today where it's just hater and hater and hater, but it's because they're really just miserable with their life. So the more that we can kind of touch people of just spreading, you know, love, light, positivity, and continue to grow, the more, you know, those people will get left behind, and then the other people will start to rise. And I think that's the biggest challenge I think I have with like most people. It's like, dude, just be yourself. Like, if you want to like say just nothing but positive things on Facebook, on Instagram, whatever it may be, just do it. Like, who cares what anybody thinks about you? And I think that's like another big switch that I really started to do. I really don't give a shit what anyone thinks about me anymore. And I think I lived, my first 28, 29 years of, I hope everybody likes me, or I need to look a certain way here, or I need to make sure, like, this image is over there for this person. I just don't care anymore. Like, the people who I want in my life are going to be in my life, right? And whoever else, I just don't care. I think as you get older too, like I always say, my vision is getting clearer and my circle is just getting smaller. But at the same time, like, I'm way happier than I ever have been in my life. Yes. So I'm perfectly okay with that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think in business and relationships, most people see quantity as success. In money too, it's like quantity success. I mean, the amount of money in your bank account is not going to give you success. It's not going to give you happiness. It's the same thing with your like social group of friends. Like, people think like, oh, well, I have a lot of friends because like Facebook is that kind of thing. Like, well, I have fucking a lot of friends. I must be really like doing something right. Who gives a shit? It's about the quality relationships. Like, I would prefer spending dinner with 6 people around a bottle of wine, having super deep, authentic conversation, dealing with the real things of life, than going to like a big ass party and just like, and that's fun too. But like, there's just a different essence to it. And I think that's really important when you start seeing that, but also like giving up that you need to look good, or that like having a lot of friends makes you look a certain way, and like it like there's access to a whole other world when looking good stops being the predominant thing that you go after, and we do really have a world of looking fucking good running amok
and blame society,
right? So and it's mind bending to me, like you said, like, who genuinely cares what somebody's inner thoughts about you are? That has zero impact on your life at all. I find it as ludicrous as like when they try to make laws, whether you're pro-life, pro-choice, I don't give a shit about that, but like here you are in Alabama, like trying to enact like federal laws that affect somebody like that lives in California that you're never going to interact with, speak with, be part of their life, inner circle, like nothing. Like, why do you care at all? Make your own fucking choices for yourself about how you believe that life is. You want to abort a baby, abort a baby. You want to keep the baby, keep the fucking baby. How other people live their lives should have zero impact on what the fuck is happening with you. Unless there's a direct threat to your fucking life, then there's nothing to fucking talk about. Keep your shit to yourself, basically. Not keep your shit, but like go within and get the lessons and like learn what you need to learn, so that like you becoming a more transformed human being transforms the planet.
Amen.
Like, it's not about doing the workout here, really. It's really about doing what the inner game is more important than anything. Anybody who's successful, sports star, business person, go read any of their fucking books. It's a journey of the inner game every single fucking time. So if your concern is with constantly trying to change your world so that you can feel better living inside of it, you're playing the wrong game.
Completely.
You're playing the wrong game.
Be miserable.
Yeah, whatever's happening inside, you're going to see outside a reflection of the inside. That's all it is. There is no outside, honestly. It really is all just a fucking reflection. So that's awesome. Anything else you want to share about the last few months?
No, honestly, I think, we covered a lot of things, and I think my biggest thing is just to really, I can't express it enough that truly anything is really possible when you get out of your own way. When, again, it's just really taking doing all the small things that, help the mental state and create your own like flow. And, I think people are always like looking like, oh, I need this or I need that, or no, it's all here. Like, you have all the control here. You don't need anything else, but you just have to have a mental switch here. Yeah. And when you switch that, and you really kind of take the certain steps and the small steps to like really better yourself and to further your future and to get what you actually want out of life, anything's possible. Yeah. And I can't thank you enough. Like, Guy was the first person, dude, I'm having a little surprise visit home. I don't really want to tell anybody, but I want to come and hang out. Let's just talk. Because honestly, like, I owe, I told you this on my going away dinner, man. Like, I owe so much to you. I would not be where I am right now if it wasn't for moving to this house. And that's one thing too. Like, I moved into this house. I shouldn't have moved in here. I probably couldn't afford it. But what I did was I put myself in a very uncomfortable position because I had a feel there was something. I was like, this is going to teach me something, and I'm going to work harder. So I can't afford this place, but I'm going to figure it out so I can. Yeah. And now we're here, and trust your instincts, right? So, I think that's the biggest thing. Just whatever makes you uncomfortable, just run towards those things. Whatever you fear, run towards those things. The more that you run towards those things and you get out of your comfort zone, the more you're going to grow. And I know everybody wants to grow. I know they do. Like, you know, I talk to all my friends, and there's always just like this small thing missing, and you can tap into it. It's just about...
It stopped.
Stop.
No. Hey!
All right, so reflect on your week and just like get complete with whatever you need to get complete with this week. What you need to get complete with is what you're making wrong about your week. If you're making something wrong about somebody, yourself, some situation that happened this week, if you make it wrong, it is coming back again to bite you in the ass like a boomerang, except the boomerang will be bigger next time. So if you don't handle it by getting in communication about what's not working for you, you will deal with that thing again. It is how it works. That is the design of humanity. So stop making the shit wrong, and then look for yourself. If you have this amazing weekend, this expansion, because most people feel really expanded during the weekend, then they feel really contracted during the week. But like actively create while you feel space, but you get space when you complete things. So if you get in communication about what's not working for you, you're gonna feel space. Then speak into reality that which you want to see, and then watch as things start aligning around you for opportunities. And like Sean said, it's going to show up like fear, because you're not going to know. It's something's going to happen, and then you're going to feel afraid. The fear is your guide towards where your instinct actually is. And if you go take action where that fear is, you're going to find that what you really want, even if it's not what you think you need, it's what you want, is on the opposite side of that thing. That's the lesson. You get that lesson, you level up, and you just keep doing that over and over again. A year later, I'll be interviewing you over here.
Yeah.
All right, guys, love you. Have an amazing Friday.
Cheers.
Bye, guys.
All right, so that ends it. Just absolutely love that. I had a huge smile on my face as I was listening back to it. And I mean, look, here's what I know. And I know this might sound egotistical to some of you, but I'm going to say it anyway. What I found is that people that come around Guy and I manifest their dreams. They go from talking about the life that they want to actually living that life and continuously knowing how to create more and more of that. So what I tell people is what Guy and I do is we make your dreams come true. The reality of it is you make your dreams come true, but we unlock your ability to do that. So if you want to have dreams come true in your life, which I'd imagine if you're listening to this, you do, then I highly encourage you to head over to youwillhaveitall.com. Again, youwillhaveitall.com. And from there, you can either join us at our live event. We still have a few seats available for that, November 3rd through the 5th. Or you can always join us, as many have done, in the Academy, which is a bi-weekly coaching program. So you get about 5 hours of one-on-one coaching with Guy and I in a group setting. You get to come out, share your experience, get live coaching from us, etc. And you can do all that and find all of that out at youwillhaveitall.com. Love you all. Talk to you real soon.